Hello everyone! When I was working on my little project to cover all the heroes from Heroes of the Storm, I figured out that a couple of them has such a small story that a full video would be a waste. That's why I decided to mix a few of them up. Some have a medium story while others have a small story. I figured to just dump them all in one video and actually make a good lore story out of it. If you want, I'll place some timestamps in the description. If you're not interested in all of them, you can easily navigate through the video and check out which character you're interested in. Let's start this wombo combo lore video off with the beautiful Stitches. The land known as Duskwood holds many terrors and secrets, but it wasn't always like that. In the past, the town of Darkshire was known as Grand Hamlet, but somewhere after the Second War, a curse infiltrated the land. It was forever clouded in darkness, and some of the villagers speculate that the Tower of Karazhan, former home of the Guardian Medivh, had something to do with it. They even went to investigate the tower, but none of them returned. On top of that, the cursed item called the Scythe of Elune made its way to Duskwood, filling the land with worgen, and families started to kill each other. All in all, the land had seen some rough and haunting times. Young adventurers ready to help the world sometimes found their way to a lonely hermit known as Abercrombie. Abercrombie used to be a kindly alchemist, but he was driven mad when he lost his beloved wife Eliza. He goes as far as to delve into necromancy, using his own heart to resurrect her, and she did come back to life, but with a hunger for flesh, so Abercrombie was forced to keep her buried beneath the ground. Young adventurers were tricked by the hermit to bring him supplies for another undead creation. Ghost hair threads, zombie juice, a couple of ghoul ribs, and Abercrombie's crate full of herbs and tools were brought in good faith. Foolishly, the adventurers gave him all the tools to unleash a powerful menace upon the town of Darkshire. Stitches was born, and back in the old days, Stitches, it would not just spawn in this phase zone as it is today. Instead, it would walk the road from the graveyard all the way to the town. He was such a powerful creature that somebody leveling up in the zone and actually getting in front of him was most likely looking at an early death. Some people actually thought it was funny to just kite Stitches all the way to Goldshire, and many people will have horrible memories about this abomination. These days, after the Cataclysm revamp, Stitches is kind enough to show up in a phased version with the Hermit on his shoulder. This makes it a lot easier to clean up our mistakes and defeat Stitches, but the memories of him butchering me in Duskwood will haunt me forever. ETC stands for Elite Tauren Chieftain, a band full of employees of Blizzard Entertainment. The band was originally known as 10th level Tauren Chieftain, since that was the max level you could get back in the days of Warcraft 3. Later on they would change their name a couple of times: level 60 Elite Tauren Chieftain, level 70, level 80, the artists formerly known as level 80 Elite Tauren Chieftains, until finally they picked up the level 90 Elite Tauren Chieftain. A TV ad in StarCraft 2 shows that the band in World of Warcraft have a healthy future in front of them, since they renamed the band to level 800 Elite Tauren Chieftain. Level 80 Elite Tauren Chieftain has performed at BlizzCon before, and despite their name, they don't just do WoW music, they also do music for StarCraft and Diablo. You don't have to go to BlizzCon to hear these guys play though. In-game you can find them at Shafra, Blackrock Depths and the Darkmoon Fair, performing their song Power of the Horde.
Storm, black clouds fill the sky. I hear my battle cry. Fire, thunder will bring forth death from the power of the horde.
When relaxing and not performing, the band likes to kick back in the Blood Elves' capital city of Silvermoon, where they're part of the Children's Week events. Horde players can bring their Blood Elf orphan to meet the band, and after meeting them, after performing her own song, the orphan decides that she too wants to be a rock star when she grows up. Fun fact, Arthas was actually part of the band, since he rocks out during the end credits of Warcraft 3, The Frozen Throne. Murky, the baby Murloc, is a proud member of the Murloc race, one of the more ancient races on Azeroth. Brent Bronzebeard suggests that Murlocs came from a frog-like ancient guardian, but the true lore is kept amongst the Murlocs themselves. I remember my early days fondly in World of Warcraft, trying out this new adventure and meeting the Murlocs for the first time. Sure, taking out one or two at a time was not really a problem, but the Murlocs, they never hunt alone. Try to kill one of them, they run back and an entire pack will rush you down and gank you and murder you over and over. Before the heirlooms were introduced, these murlocs were truly hard to kill. And this is mostly why murlocs are so popular amongst the players. They're well remembered, similar to how people will always remember Stitches. And of course, the pet murlocs are very cute. The little dance they do is amazing. The murloc questline during Wrath of the Lich King, where you meet the guy in the murloc suit, is awesome. It's just become a mascot, a meme, a funny thing. Now, funny enough, the murlocs, they've actually played a big role in forming the history of Warcraft, since they were part of sacrificing Sen'jin, who was Vol'jin's father.
Pathetic fools. They will not stop us from receiving what has been promised. Sen'jin, don't despair. You'll soon be joining him. The vision told me you would lead my people off this island. You don't have much time, young one. Go.
But you and your people are coming with us.
It'd be too late. I'm already gone.
Vol'jin would become the leader of the Darkspear tribe, and he followed Thrall for the rest of his life, eventually even becoming the war chief of the Horde. Some murlocs are doomed to be slaughtered over and over again for their eyes, or gills, or treasure map, or whatever the quest giver needs, while others were lucky enough to evolve into, for example, the Jinyu. The Jinyu, they would be connected to the rivers, and they would tell the Pandaren emperors what their future would hold. Murky was not so lucky. His story, well, I'll let Murky do the talking. The playful Brightwing is a fairy dragon, and fairy dragons have a high affinity with magic. They can absorb it, they can redirect it, they can even completely nullify it, and they're also linked to the Emerald Dream. The Emerald Dream, it's a little bit difficult to explain, it's a little bit vague. Basically, it's a lot of green, and it looks like Azeroth if life had never changed it. The Titans are the ones who shaped Azeroth, and when they left, certain races they started to build homes for themselves. Now take Stormwind for example, the capital city for the humans. That wasn't there when the Titans left the world behind. So in the Emerald Dream, this castle, this town, would be gone, and you'd only see like a grassy field, a bunch of trees. However, the Titans left it behind. Now, sad to say, Brightwing and fairy dragons in general, they don't have that much of a story. There is, however, one interesting event, and this takes place in the Tirisfal Glade, and it's entirely up to speculation what exactly is going on. In the Whispering Forest, a group of fairy dragons will gather around a mushroom circle and they'll start to sing. Like I said, we have no idea why this is in the game. Perhaps they're trying to prevent some evil from breaking out, some sort of magic from seeping out of the earth below. Perhaps some old god is resting beneath this spot, or perhaps Tyr is there. Currently, there's nothing implemented, and we can only hope that Blizzard might add something later on. Which brings us to our final hero of the storm, the Goblin Gazlowe.
Hey, how's it going?
Gazlowe has been part of the game ever since Warcraft 3. He was recruited by Thrall to help out with the construction of Orgrimmar, but Gazlowe and his crew, they ran into a bit of trouble. They were digging tunnels for an underground well to supply the city of Orgrimmar with water, but they accidentally hit a spot full with kobolds. In dire need of help, Gazlowe asked Rexxar, future champion of the Horde, for help.
Ah, new guy, huh? I'm Gazlowe, chief engineer around these parts. But enough about me. We got work to do, buddy. You see, me and my boys have been dredging out tunnels beneath the city, looking for underground wells. Problem is, we dug straight into a den of kobolds. Now those rat freaks are running willy-nilly all over our tunnels. I need you to hook up with my boys and seal those kobolds back in their hole. Yeah, just find the tunnel entrance outside of town, and my boys will set you straight. So they blew themselves up, you say? Now that's occupational commitment. Anyway, you done good, kid. Take these items. It's the least I can do to repay you.
During Classic World of Warcraft, we found out that Gazlowe is actually the leader of Ratchet. He has no particular love for the Alliance, but he does want to remain neutral, since gold is gold after all, and it doesn't matter where it comes from, as long as it fills his pockets. The quests during Classic World of Warcraft are not really interesting. You were sent to retrieve a couple of items from pirates, you were sent to deliver some items for Gazlowe. All in all, it wasn't really exciting. The more interesting part actually happened just before the Cataclysm in the novel The Shattering, a prelude to the Cataclysm. In this book, a bunch of fire elementals, they race through the cities of Orgrimmar. Thrall tried to use the shamanistic powers to calm down the elements and ask them to leave the city, but the flames, they were agitated. He was eventually even forced to no longer ask the elements, but force the flame to extinguish, which he didn't like. Shamans, they like to work together with the elements as a mutual respect thing, and forcing them to do things is not the way of the shaman. Now, taking away the flames took away the initial threat, but the city of Orgrimmar was already very damaged. The city had to be rebuilt. Gazlowe was the man for the job, and the price that he asked for it was astronomical, even after lowering it for his friend Thrall. Thrall had no choice though, so he agreed to the price, and he left to Outland to find out more about the shamanistic side and learn what was going on with the world of Azeroth. The fire elementals in Orgrimmar were just the beginning, and he had to find out how to save the world before it was too late. Before Thrall left, he made sure that the Horde had a leader, so Thrall placed Garrosh in the mantle of Warchief. Several of his fellow leaders, the Tauren Cairn for example, did not agree with Thrall's choice. Cairn, he definitely realized that Garrosh was a hero amongst the orcs, and maybe given the time, he would grow out to be a fantastic warchief. For the moment though, he also realized that Garrosh was just too hot-headed, and especially with the Alliance relations just being so shaky, he was not the right man for the job. Thrall refused to listen to Cairn and he left anyways, leaving the old bull to deal with Garrosh. This would eventually lead to Cairn challenging Garrosh to Mak-Korra. Garrosh changing the rules to a duel to the death. Megafa Grimtotem betraying all of them and poisoning Garrosh's weapon, to eventually Cairn dying in the arena from the poison placed on Gorhal. Megafa was the one who poisoned the weapon, since he had no love for Cairn and she wanted to rule the Tauren and its city. Cairn's son Bane was thankfully warned before Megafa could strike, and he was able to escape the city and find some help. Now Bane at this point, he didn't know who he could trust at this time. He wasn't sure if Garrosh was behind it, he wasn't sure if he could contact the trolls, so he didn't really have any allies, and he decided to seek help from Jaina Proudmoore. She provided Bane with gold from her own savings, which he planned to use to buy bombs, zeppelins, ropes, weapons, all kinds of materials to take back his city. Gazlowe met up with Stormsong Grimtotem, the one Grimtotem that warned Bane about Megafa's attack, and as he looked over the list, he realized that with the money earned, he could probably buy himself a new town. Against all Goblin's nature, Gazlowe only took a handful of gold, since he supported Bane's cause, and he had always liked his father. Bane's troops, now well supplied, managed to defeat Megafa and her clan, and they retook the city. In the meantime, Thrall, he had met up with Agra and underwent a vision quest to figure out what he could do for Azeroth. The elements of Outland warned him that a cataclysm was coming, so he traveled back to Azeroth and Agra actually joined him. The shattering, the breaking of the world when Deathwing came out of Deepholm did actually happen, and the Maelstrom was in turmoil. Again, Gazlowe offered his aid to the Horde, and he provided Thrall with a ship that Thrall named Draka's Fury. En route, the ship was attacked by Alliance troops, and the goblins who were trying to escape from the island Kazan, who was just hit by a gigantic volcano, they were caught in the crossfire. Thrall was captured by the Alliance, but the goblins, they helped him out and he could resume his journey, while the goblins of Kazan, they decided to join the Horde. The Cataclysm did not only make the world of Azeroth look different, it also updated the quest and the story that was being told. This time, Gazlowe was dealing with an Alliance Rear Admiral Hartley, who's been searching and seizing any vessels flying Horde colors with the goal of depriving them use of a neutral port. Obviously, Gazlowe did not like his actions, so he recruited Horde adventurers to take out the Admiral's ship. Like I said before, Gazlowe has no real love for the Alliance, but gold is gold, so even after dealing with this Admiral, he still helped out Alliance players by giving them directions to Fedamore. Gazlowe, a true neutral goblin who loves his gold, but still has a soft spot for Thrall and the Horde. Now a warning in advance, the next part of the video will contain minor spoilers for Warlords of Draenor, but I do want to give a warning for those who want absolutely no spoilers. I've kept Gazlowe as my final character for this video just because of this reason, so if you don't want any spoilers, please turn off the video and you won't miss a thing. Now for those who are still sticking around, in Warlords of Draenor, Gazlowe is once again on the Horde side and he helps the commander with setting up the main garrison.
This terrain is ideal for a stronghold.
I can open up a portal to Orgrimmar only briefly. Reinforcements are standing by, I hope.
The very best.
Hey, somebody call for a fixer?
You're entrusting a goblin to be your foreman?
Gazlowe here oversaw the construction of Orgrimmar.
Orgrimmar, the impenetrable fortress.
Wasn't it recently sacked?
Yeah, okay. One little sacking.
And that's Gazlowe's story, at least for the moment. Perhaps he will do more in Warlords of Draenor, but that's unfortunately not available yet. So basically, you're the commander, you ask Khadgar to make the portal, Gazlowe shows up from our Orgrimmar, and, well, he helps you build the garrison. You can eventually level up the garrison to level 3, you can drop down plots which will give you individual buffs, and Gazlowe is the one who's your constructor and who actually helps you build all of this. As I said, Gazlowe is the final hero that I'll be covering in this video, so thank you very much for watching everyone. Subscribe if you like my videos, and until next time guys, see ya!
Are we done here? Stop! I have a Heroes at a Storm match coming up, okay? Thank you, bye-bye!